I don't know if that message is correct or not, but it says it's being live streamed and it says webinar is now streaming live on Facebook. I know that's not always accurate, but just letting you know we see that.
Okay. I'm gonna have to go to Facebook to check because I'm getting punted out and it is not allowing a live on Facebook.
Just for folks that have joined on Zoom, we're having a few Facebook issues, so we're trying to connect people trying to join that way. We'll start shortly after we get that fixed.
Okay, we actually are live on Facebook.
All right, great. Ready?
Ready.
All right, thanks, Jason. All right, welcome everyone to our February 2022 first meeting of the MAC for this year. We have a couple new people here, but before we start in earnest, we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance. And Vesta, are you ready?
Okay. Where's my flag?
Oh, very nice.
You got the flag? Okay. All right. I can't see it. I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Vesta. And now I'm going to turn it over to Leo, who is going to swear in a new representative, if she is here, hopefully.
Yeah, so let's check the gallery and see. Diane, Shaw, if you're in the attendee group, we don't see you by name. If you can raise your hand, then Jason can promote you. Otherwise, Chair, maybe we should come back to this later if that's
okay.
Not going to present a quorum problem.
Okay, let's do a roll call and see if Diane is somewhere in the Netherlands. So Leo, are you doing the roll call?
I don't usually do the roll call. Who usually does the roll call?
Mary does.
Oh, okay. Let me see. Sorry, I don't have the roster immediately in front of me. I just apologize. I'm rusty on this. Hold on 1 second. Actually, Mary, do you happen to have the roster in front of you? Are you able to do that?
Oh, I see.
If not, I can. I think I could stumble through this. So, Diane, Pip,
Here.
Lisa, there you are.
Here, sorry.
Vesta,
Here.
Nick,
Here.
and our alternate Avi. I believe she is here. Kyra,
Present.
Tony,
Here.
Alice. Okay. So I think we're missing Alice, Diane, and Avi.
Okay.
Back to you, Chair.
All right, Leo.
So I think that. Go ahead.
Leo.
I was just saying it sounded like you had quorum, so we could come back and swear her in once she arrives.
Right. So the next item on the agenda is the election of chair and vice chair, which Leo is going to do this part of the meeting.
Right. So at this point, we can open it up for a nomination. So Kyra?
I would like to nominate Pip, who has done an absolutely fabulous job as chair, to continue as chair.
I will second that motion wholeheartedly.
Jesus.
All right, thank you. So are there, are we ready to vote on this motion? Okay, great. Jason, do you mind doing the roll call since you got that right there?
Certainly. So I'll say everyone, even if they're not here, Diane Shaw, she's not with us. Pip, do you get a vote here?
Yep. I'm fine.
Lisa,
I vote yes.
Vesta,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
alternate Avi, who's absent, Kyra,
Yes.
Tony,
Yes.
and Alice, who is also absent.
Thank you.
Okay.
So that sounds like that's unanimous amongst those of us who are here.
Congratulations, Pip.
Oh,
Congratulations.
gee whiz.
We really appreciate you being
Thank
willing
you,
to.
thank you,
to do
thank
that.
you, thank you.
So Pip, would you like to take the lead for the vice chair nomination, or should I continue?
Well, if you're asking for nominations, I'd like to nominate Kyra for vice chair. She's done a great job. She's been sitting in on many of the meetings that I go to and is extremely helpful and insightful. So I think she's doing a great job, and I think she's doing a great job with land use too. So I nominate Kyra.
I will second that
Second.
wholeheartedly also again.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. So with that, Jason, if you would do the roll one more time.
Diane Shaw, absent. Pip,
Yep.
Lisa,
Yes.
Vesta,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Avi, who is absent, Kyra,
Yes, I'm okay.
Tony,
Yes.
and Alice, who is also absent.
Thank you, Kyra, because you guys have been a great team. And I love, Kyra, how you're very good at the land use committee, following all the rules and being an honest to God standing committee, not easy. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks to both of you for your willingness to continue.
Yes, very much.
Okay. All right. Now that's done. The next thing on the agenda is to approve the agenda. So get a motion to approve the agenda.
I motion to approve the agenda.
I
Second.
second that motion.
All right. Can we do just a raise of hands so we
I think
all
that should be fine.
all favor of? Awesome. That's definitely a quorum of people. Okay, now it's time to ask anyone who has a conflict of interest to speak now or forever hold your peace of anything that's on the agenda. So if there's an item on the agenda that you have a conflict of interest, you should make that known now. Seeing that there's no one that has a conflict, let's go to correspondence, which we have none of this time. So the next is to approve the meeting minutes from our last meeting. Those were in the packet. Everyone should have read them. We got them out ahead of time.
I approve
They
them.
were, oh,
Did you say something?
did you, sorry, Vesta, did you say you moved to approve them?
Yeah, because
Then I will second that.
okay.
Can I see a hand raise for approving that? Tony, you good? Okay. All right, now we've added a new little section here, and I'm hoping everyone on the council will adhere to the 1 minute rule, which is like if there's something that's not on the agenda, but you have a brief comment or announcement to make, now would be the time to make it. So this is for stuff that's not on the agenda. And please keep it to a minute. And Jason, I would tell you to put the clock up if we didn't sort of trust these people. But anyway, go. All right. I see Vesta has something to say.
Yeah, Lisa and I and the Chamber of Commerce and the Forestville Planning Association are hosting a Forestville Town Hall on March 30th. That's going to be in person at the Forestville Elementary School, the multipurpose room, which is at the back of the school. Take Travis Road to get to it, but it's also going to be online on Zoom. We had scheduled this for January, decided it was unsafe to do that, and now we're doing it at the end of March. We're still going to continue with the hybrid because we believe that there are a lot of people who still don't feel safe to be in a room together. The gymnasium is large enough to have social distancing. Because of the hybrid situation, people will be able to see presentations and each other. The presentations and the agenda, we're having Transportation and Public Works come and talk about crosswalks in downtown Forestville and a couple of other road issues. The skate park is going to be there to talk about the plans for the skate park. So part of the presentation will be drawings for the skate park.
Thank you, Vesta.
Bye.
Oh. Yeah. Thanks, Jason. All right. Anyone else have I know, Nick, I know you did.
Motion detected at the gallery.
Yes, just want to remind everybody that Fire Safe Guerneville is having our first inaugural Wildfire Readiness Week, February 20th through the 26th. We can find out more information on our website. I will post a link in the chat if one of my compatriots don't get to it first. And we have a lot of different programs, and this is our first event. I hope you guys can come if you want more information. firesafeguerneville.org. Thanks.
And there's posters around town on that too that lists the events. All right, anyone else on the council have something? Yes, no, maybe? Okay, great, thank you. All right, now it's time for anyone in the public who has a comment on something that are not on the agenda. So this is really for things not on the agenda. So if it's on the agenda and I rudely interrupt you, I apologize in advance, but this is for things that are not on the agenda. And you have 2 minutes if you got something you want to bring up here now.
So at this time, if there's anyone in the public, please raise your hand in Zoom.
I don't see anyone in Zoom. Do you see anyone Facebook, Jason?
Nope. No one on Facebook and no one on Zoom.
Okay. All right, great. So we're going to move on to the regular calendar items. The first is a presentation by Claudia Vecchio, who I see they're sitting there patiently while we're doing like some business here. Pardon?
It has to happen.
Yeah, she's the president and CEO of Sonoma County Tourism. She's going to talk a little bit about the Leave No Trace program. Thank you, Claudia, for attending tonight.
Well, it is my pleasure to be here. I have to say it's, we really always appreciate this opportunity to talk to people and, help kind of convey what Sonoma County Tourism is up to. So very much appreciate you all and taking some time tonight to listen to what I have to say. So can you all see that? I know that's a stupid question. Can you hear me? Can you see the screen? You're all cool? Okay, excellent. So yeah, many of you have heard part of this beginning of what I'm going to kind of talk about before, and that kind of is the backstory to how we got to Leave No Trace. But in 2018, Sonoma County Tourism really did change its focus. And, I came into this destination and first of all, we dealt with wildfires, obviously, and the issue of climate change. But I heard loud and clear from folks on this call, from people at the coast, from people really across Sonoma County, that travelers were not behaving particularly well. And, and there were a lot of issues around what travelers were experiencing while they were here and also the impact to communities. And of course, this is a bigger, broader whole issue than just Leave No Trace. But tonight we'll kind of focus on how we got to Leave No Trace. And so we changed the focus of Sonoma County tourism from being a numbers game. So the kind of organization Sonoma County Tourism is, of course, these exist throughout the country and around the world. And primarily the real success metrics for organizations like ours has been numbers. And it's been, how many visitors, and we were all excited. I've been in this business a long time, but in other places we were super excited if we went from X number of visitors to X number of visitors. And, we went from X number of meetings to X number of meetings. It was a numbers thing. And so we used to talk about our success really just in terms of numbers. People were not people, people were numbers. And from what, and I have to say, some of you were probably part of the Let's Talk Tourism discussions that happened before I arrived, but those were really valuable in helping us frame this whole evolution. So appreciate those of you who are part of that. So between what Sonoma County as a tourism destination really needed, what our residents really needed, what I kept hearing over and over again from our elected officials and residents and businesses was we needed to take this in a different direction. So we really did. And as it says on this slide, in 2018, we made a shift, in a pretty substantial shift, from being a destination marketing organization to being a destination stewardship organization. That, in our industry, that's a big leap for organizations like ours. And it was a tough one because I had to, we are funded by lodging tax. And it's a difficult conversation to help lodging general managers and owners understand that this isn't a benevolent decision, this is a business decision. And so, we went into this, this evolution, if you will, with a really strategic thought pattern that this was going to help not only benefit our natural, cultural, and intellectual resources, but benefit the county. And I'll talk about that in a second. And this is really what Leave No Trace is all about in a very profound way. We are not accomplished what we need to accomplish yet. I'll say that right out. This is a work in progress, but this is a work that is in progress. So in the latest iteration of our strategic plan, you'll see that our board really is starting to embrace what this whole thing means. So our mission is not only to drive overnight visitation, which is what's in our ordinance, but with that caveat, it's that bolsters the region economy and encourages responsible stewardship of the community's abundant resources. So for the first time, we're really recognizing that confluence between driving visitation, but those people who want to be responsible stewards. And that is a really important evolution that we're taking from the organization standpoint. So then the mission is that Sonoma County will be the premier destination in North America, again with that caveat, for responsible travelers who enjoy, protect, and preserve the area's bountiful natural and cultural resources. Are we going to get bad actors? Yes. But as we really help shape and frame the messaging that we do through our marketing and PR and sales efforts, this is how we're going to be talking about Sonoma County. So changing consumer behavior, as you all know, is not something that happens overnight. So this is a work in progress, and this is really something that I'm hopeful we're going to be able to, as a whole destination, all of you on this call for sure, align around this idea that tourism drives this economy, and it does, and it will for the foreseeable future. But it doesn't just have to be, we don't just have to let it happen to us. We can create this environment that helps tourism help Sonoma County. So that's really what this whole thing's about. So as I said, and just kind of in a visual, we went from a destination marketing organization that was numbers, it was numbers, it was numbers. We sidestepped through a destination management organization, and those are the organizations now who are, I mean, they really think they're taking a step forward because they're going to manage the destination. But this is even more profound than that. This is us saying we are, along with all of you, and along with as many people as we can get aligned around this vision, we're stewards of this destination. It is ours to protect and preserve and manage and make sure that it moves forward in the right way. So we really have embraced this idea of sustainable tourism, and the sort of, the economic development has its triple bottom line. So too does responsible and sustainable tourism, and it is all around planet, prosperity, and people. So if we look at all of these components, as a steward of this place, we are considering all of these things. It's not just about driving the economy, although that's definitely our baseline, but it's considering all these other things, which really does help us get a broader sense of what Sonoma County tourism, the influence of Sonoma County tourism. So we're starting to create these programs that are really rooted in sustainability. So we were one of the first destinations to partner with a group called Kind Traveler. And this is many of you may be familiar with this, but it's the first of its kind give back booking engine. So just like an Expedia or just like a Travelocity, you can book a hotel on Kind Traveler, a lodging property on Kind Traveler, but for every night you book, $10 goes back into the community. So there are a number of beneficiaries of this, but for us, the Russian River Keeper was one, Redwood Food Bank, Sonoma County Land Trust. We're now moving into this new cycle where we have beneficiaries like Charlie's Acres and, oh golly, I can't remember the other two. Terrible. Well, we're just getting on with those folks. So, but it really is about that opportunity for travelers who are booking on Kind Traveler to give back to the place that they're going to visit. We also instituted a Travel Kindly Pledge, which I'll show you in a second. Tourism Cares is our entity of Sonoma County Tourism that, again, is this community engagement piece. And this was us, along with a number of our industry partners out at the Russian River, doing a cleanup day. And some of you may have been involved with that, but that was, it's always good for us to give back and to be part of the community because that's incredibly important. Our new program we have coming online is called Rewards for Rubbish. And that is an opportunity for people in particular locations throughout the county. They'll get gloves and they'll get a trash bag and they can go out and pick up trash. What we don't want to convey is that Sonoma County is full of trash, but we do want people to give the people the opportunity to give back. So when we look at this Travel Kindly Pledge, you'll start to see the beginning of how easy it was for us to merge into Leave No Trace, because you'll see the first of our pledge components was Leave No Trace. We started this back in 2019. It obviously didn't have a whole bunch of time to get this really any momentum around this before the pandemic hit, but this idea of traveling kindly, and we put this on our website. We had stickers and all kinds of things that properties could put up, but you can see those. First of all, leave no trace, pick up, pack up, recycle, tread lightly, and you can read all these, so I'm not going to go through them all. Go beyond, think local. This idea of really creating and understanding and trying to leave a trip with more understanding of the place than you came is very compelling for travelers. So this idea of thinking and becoming a local is really important. Make a positive impact on that place. Spread kindness, plan ahead, be mindful. You'll start to see that these kinds of travel kindly attributes really lead very nicely into Leave No Trace. So about, I guess about 18 months ago or so, we were talking to the regional parks, and this idea of they wanted to integrate the 7 principles of Leave No Trace. And so we said to them, well, why don't we go one step further and really create a partnership between the 3 entities as we continue to evolve this idea of traveling kindly and being really mindful about coming to a destination and protecting and preserving its resources. So we partnered with the National Parks and Leave No Trace, which is a national organization, and actually now it's becoming an international organization, to really lay the foundation and the framework for moving forward in a very sustainable way. We have 2 phases, but you'll kind of see it's more like 3 phases because there's a 1A and a 1B. But the first phase really was a discovery phase. So along with the folks at Leave No Trace, it was a time for us to really craft those fundamental elements. So one of the fundamental elements was to adopt and identify and craft customized Sonoma County Leave No Trace principles. So we sort of took what we had with that Travel Kindly pledge, took what Leave No Trace offers as its just sort of core 7 principles, and Sonoma Countyized them. So the first is know before you go. And I'm just gonna, sorry, I'm gonna read a little bit here, but it really is about learning about the place you visit before you visit. Check the conditions, know what's happening. If it's a really high time of the year, know that you're going to run into some traffic, know that you're going to run into some issues before you go. So you could possibly plan an alternative experience, or you'll go someplace where where the traffic really isn't. Avoid parking in residential neighborhoods. Understand the safety components around river and ocean visitation. Understand what's pet friendly, what's not pet friendly. Understand certainly if you come to Sonoma County during a natural disaster potential season, and we talk about fire down here, but know all these things. Be informed before you get to a place. Second, stick to the trails and be a water wise camper. Certainly with the drought in place, we want everybody to be very conscious of the way they're using water. Sticking to the trails certainly, and not veering off is a safety piece, but it's also just a protecting and preserving component as well. And all of this is on our website. So if you want more detail into any of these, it goes into pretty good detail on our website. The next is trash your trash and pick up pet waste. Pack it in, pack it out is a common phrase that you'll hear a lot. If you bring something in with you, take it out with you when you go. Use restrooms, pick up pet waste, just packing everything, making sure you're just a conscious and thoughtful traveler. Leave it as you find it, sort of that same thing. People are here to explore. They're here to find all that Sonoma County has to offer, but we want them to leave it where they found it and not take home souvenirs such as shellfish and wildflowers and all of the other things that really ought to be kept where they found them. One of the interesting parts of this one that they came up with, leave gates as you find them. And it really is about our wildlife and the fact that some of the wildlife is out grazing, and they could potentially come in contact with visitors. So important to leave gates as you find them. Next is to be extremely careful with fire, and you all can figure out what that is. I mean, certainly being mindful of what you're burning and mindful of all the precautions out there. Keep wildlife wild, make sure you're not feeding the wildlife, but just being conscious of the fact that these animals are in fact wild. And then share the outdoors, be considerate when passing others, keep your pet leashed, beware of your use of technology. I mean, just a lot of things that really just talks about being mindful of being an outdoor traveler. Andrew Leary, who's the fellow in the black coat and the shorts there, he's our Leave No Trace. He's our contact there, and he's an incredible guy, but he loves Sonoma County, and so he came out and he needed to see the place before we really started to talk through a lot of these components. The second part of that first phase is really creating this foundation. So there were, and some of you may have been part of this, but we put together a stakeholder survey, just really asking people lots of questions about use of outdoors, use of the regional parks and all of the open spaces and such. And I'm happy to share with you, if you would like, the results of that report, just let me know. They're doing listening sessions to talk to respondents and participants and people in the community, really to find out what the pain points are around visitation, especially as it relates to our regional parks. We're also training Sonoma County tourism staff on professional development and how we are better stewards of these parks and how we better communicate the principles out to our visitors and to our partners. So now we're really getting into this program design phase. And it really is around this whole thing of how are we going to create this program that helps educate partners, educate travelers, educate everybody. And it's going to be an interesting part of this entire component. And that's sort of where we are now. And you'll see we're now entering into this phase 2 time period where we're doing this stewardship partnership program. And we'll be working with lots of you and figuring out how we do a better job of sort of imploring this initiative amongst our usage amongst our visitors. And a lot of this is, we haven't started yet, so I can't tell you what the results are, but it's an exciting kind of part of this entire program we have with Leave No Trace. And again, it's a partnership with the regional parks. And so there really is that focus as it relates to working and living and visiting the parks. But Sonoma County Tourism is taking a kind of a broader approach to the overall sustainability component. We just joined the Global Sustainability Tourism Council. They're going to come in and do a sustainability assessment and really look at how this entire destination is approaching sustainability, provide us with some ideas on how we do a better job of that, but really doing that, you know, sort of SWOT analysis of the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, the threats, how are we integrating that. And then finally, what we're launching at the end of this month is, I couldn't be more excited about this, is a whole destination master plan. And it takes those Leave No Trace principles, it takes this whole idea of sustainability and long-term sort of driving this vision forward of what's Sonoma County going to look like in 20 years or so. And let's make sure again that we're putting in place the right programs, the right messages, but also to get those voices within the transportation and the water use and, you know, those other industry sectors that we don't generally have at the tourism table to talk about how we grow, because tourism will grow in Sonoma County. Make no, you know, that's going to happen whether anybody markets it or not. But to grow in a really responsible and thoughtful way, that's what this whole plan is really designed to do, is to look into the future and figure out how we do things the right way to get us where we want to be in a very responsible and resilient way. So coming soon we're bringing in a consultant group to help us with this. They work with a lot of destinations. I feel really confident that they're going to be able to do some really good work for Sonoma County. And will, I'm sure, include lots of you in those conversations about how we move this whole thing forward in a more thoughtful, stewardship-driven way. That's all I have. That's Leave No Trace, that's stewardship, that's sustainability, kind of where we are at this point. Happy to take any questions, of course.
Thank you, Claudia. I'm going to turn it over to the council. Does anyone have any comments or questions for Claudia? Lisa.
Yeah, hi, Claudia. Thanks so much for coming. Can you share your contact information with us in the chat? And I just wanted to say I'm the head of the chair. I'm a head of chair of the trash committee. So I'd like to reach out to you. And then also maybe you could come back in, say, 6 to 8 months to give us an update on sort of some outcomes of the first couple of phases. So thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You want my contact information for me, right?
I do, but
okay.
I can get it. If you don't want to put it to the chat, I can get it after. Somehow.
I'm totally happy to put it in the chat. I just wanted to clarify whose contact information you wanted, but I'm happy to put it in there.
Thank you.
Vesta?
I really appreciate that you're moving away from numbers, because there's no humanity in numbers. And the biggest problem that many of these decision makers make is that they make decisions based on numbers and numbers alone. So thank you very much. Are you working with the county with the revitalization confluence marketing committee that was put together last year, where they are trying to humanize and also get increase the responsibility of both people who live here as well as tourists?
I don't think we are. Let me look into that, but that would be, that's kind of a natural, isn't it? I'm not, so I need to look into that.
It's so many times people will duplicate efforts, and it almost sounds a bit of like a duplication. So last year, the county had an RFP looking for an advertising agency or marketing agency to work with them around the confluence and around responsibility and its revitalization. And so many of the things you're talking about are those exact same things. So it seems like it would work well in concert together to do that. I'm one of the people who picks up trash all the time. And one of the things, I just cleaned a park and ride, and it's astonishing how one day after cleaning the park and ride, cars started coming in because there wasn't glass all over the place. So, and the concept of if you take care of it, if we take care of our home, people tend to respect it more and be a little more careful, because whatever it is that they were going to toss out their car suddenly becomes an eyesore instead of one of among many. So I appreciate the events you've had recently where people are cleaning up travel areas, the Armstrong Woods and the various things around the county. That's essential for getting people to respect our home. And all the things you're talking about are excellent. And I really appreciate that you have changed the focus of the Tourism Bureau. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Well, I appreciate that. And as I say, we are, you'll say, hey, but there's still, trash being left. And I couldn't agree more. So what we need to do a better job of is moving from saying to people, here are these principles. Wouldn't it be great if you did this, into really incentivizing good behavior? Because that's when behavior changes. So understand that we're looking at ways to truly shape behavior and not just ask people to be better. But it's a work in progress, and people aren't easy to change. So we're
What you're
All right.
is leading by example. That's what you're doing. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else in the council? Yeah, go ahead, Nick.
Thanks. All that sounds really great. The one thing I was hoping to see more of was something along the lines of be a good neighbor. Much of the tourism impact felt in our area has to do with vacation rentals. And I noticed it mentioned sort of as a subtext of one of the principles you mentioned on the first page. But if you could have be a good neighbor in, more boldly pointed out, that's something that we see as an issue out here.
Absolutely. It is in here, and I probably didn't to say it loudly enough, but that be a good neighbor is that's very clear. And you're 100% right. I'm just shocked by the stories I hear about how people are behaving. So on behalf of the travel industry, I apologize for that, and we're going to work to do better.
So I have a couple things. One is I'm going to jump off of what both Lisa and Vesta talked about. There is this confluence initiative going on, and it does sound very duplicative of what you're doing, and it sounds like it could mesh together better. And like Lisa is running our trash committee out here that looks at all the neighborhoods in the Russian River and finding out things that are impacting neighborhoods. So there might be some information that she has that would help in your work. So I would just hope that we can connect all these pieces together, because everyone's circling around the same issue, and some information sharing might be good. The second is you talked a lot about on what we want to do here in Sonoma County, and I think it's all fantastic. Have you begun to look at audience? And this is where I sort of disagree with Vesta a little bit on the number part. Well, I don't think numbers should be a complete consideration, but did you look at audience sizes and tourists, not just to Sonoma County, and look at the buckets that are maybe eco-friendly or friendly to all the principles that you outlined that aren't necessarily Sonoma County visitors? And could there potentially be an upswing in numbers based on going after audiences that don't traditionally come here?
I love that question, and the answer is yes. And we did a piece of work, which I'm happy to share with you. Actually, our agency did it, of how we're really going to target these travelers, because they are findable and with the right messaging.
Right.
And they come from exactly the target markets we want to target, and they are highly coveted travelers, because we're not necessarily looking at local travelers. We're looking at travelers from our flight markets. So we're looking at Dallas and LA and Phoenix and these other places that will come and spend more money, stay longer. So they have all those right attributes. Plus they are those who are actively involved or somehow have searched or done some other kinds of, technology sorts of magic that I don't know anything about, but they find them.
Right.
So we have this, how are we going to find this responsible traveler through our media efforts with this agency? What I love is that second part that you said, they are not necessarily visitors to Sonoma County. They aren't. They are travelers. We know they travel. So they have been to a destination within the past. Well, they haven't probably not within the past year, but they are known travelers. So they have a propensity to travel. And now we've found those who want to have a propensity to travel in a sustainable and a thoughtful way. So once we get this integrated, and honestly, we just got this from our agency, that's going to be, I love what they've done for us in that way.
Okay, and the second part of my question is the kind traveler beneficiaries. Was there a set of criteria that you used to determine who would be the beneficiaries of?
Honestly, there were people who came to us and said, let's be a beneficiary. We want to be a beneficiary. The benefits back are not that big now. So it's not like they're making tons of money doing this. But they do have a certain, I mean, they do get some promotion by being part of this website. So that's probably the key benefit right now. The cash outlay is not.
Right. Well, maybe I'll call you about forgotten felines.
Well, I am a personal forgotten felines. I love that organization, but with this time we do always have an animal, and this time is Charlie's Acres, but I love that organization.
Okay. Anyone else in the council have a comment or question for Claudia? All right, let's go to the public. Are there any hands up? I'm looking real fast.
Don't have any hands up yet, but I'll take this opportunity to read one comment from Facebook.
Okay.
Mary Yates, who states, our town depends on tourism. To accommodate tourists in our small town requires more parking, garbage cans, more toilet facilities, and crews to maintain these services.
That's a great comment. And those infrastructure components that you're talking about are critical. You're 100% right. And it is really for us to determine and figure out how we connect with the groups that make that happen, because tourists hate that as much as you do. So, we really want to be sure that infrastructure is in place. So thank you for that comment.
All right. Anyone else on Facebook? Jason, do you see anyone?
No more on Facebook, and we have no hands raised in our audience.
Okay. Thank you, Claudia, so much.
Thank you. I'm happy to come back whenever, and we'll connect once we get this thing underway. So thank you very
If
much.
I may just make one brief staff comment. I did just reconfirm. I know that that Elise would have a lot to say about the Confluence effort that you raised, and she and Lynda have confirmed that that Kelly with SCT has been heavily involved with Confluence. And I remember Elise being very excited when the brand was being launched, that all the tourism folks who were involved also thought it was really positive.
Yes, I know Kelly's very involved with that piece. Yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
And then I guess also the coastal leave no trace piece. So thank you so much for your partnership. I have the same thoughts around wanting to make sure that they're really complementary efforts.
Yeah.
Thanks, Claudia.
Thank you.
Okay. Brad, are you here?
You know what,
Brad is
today I'm gonna go ahead and if you'd like, today it's gonna be Lynn Roselli who's gonna lead for the water agency, and she's joined by, hopefully I'm getting the pronunciation right, Kent Gilf and David Royale.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Lynn, we hear
Yes,
you.
we can hear you. So we're gonna have a little discussion about some wastewater issues that are facing part of the Lower Russian River. And one of the reasons that we thought it was important to put on the agenda here, while this may directly impact just a couple of communities, these kind of infrastructure issues are probably not isolated to one single community, but they probably go across many. And it's good for people to understand some of the infrastructure issues that you don't necessarily think about in your daily life.
Okay, so can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Excellent. So I guess I'll go ahead and get started. I am Lynn Rosselli. I'm the Administrative Services Division Manager for Sonoma Water. And I'm here today with David Royal, Operations and Maintenance Manager, and Kent Gilfie, our Deputy Chief Engineer. And we are here today to talk about infrastructure, budget, and rates for the Russian River County Sanitation District. And I'm going to go ahead and run through these topics, and Kent and David are both going to help me with any technical questions that you might have. But what we're going to go over today is just a brief overview of the district, including operations and maintenance and infrastructure projects, and then what we're proposing for next fiscal year in terms of projects and budget and the rates. We'll round that out with some information on public outreach and education, and then we'll open it up for questions. So the Russian River County Sanitation District has a service area of 2,700 acres. The plant began operation in 1983. Sonoma Water took over operations in 1995, and the plant was designed to treat an average dry weather flow of up to 0.71 million gallons per day to advanced tertiary wastewater treatment standards, which is very high. And it's a very advanced system, the most advanced that is available. The treatment system consists also of 45.4 miles of collection system. And we clean more than 60,000 linear feet of collection system annually. We also do CCTV video inspections annually to inform maintenance needs going forward. We have completed sanitary sewer capacity assessment and a computer model of the collection system. And that also helps us with looking forward toward operations and maintenance and infrastructure needs. We're actually going to be updating that sanitary sewer capacity assessment. We are in the process of updating that right now as well. Let's see, can I go down? Is it not? Uh-oh, am I frozen? There we go. So this slide shows you the boundaries of the sanitation district in yellow. And those little yellow orange boxes with the letters LS in bold, in black and bold, are lift stations. The district has 11 lift stations. Now, just as comparison, Sonoma Valley County Sanitation District to our east has 2 lift stations. They have more than 11,000 customers. 2 lift stations, 11,000 customers. Russian River has 11 lift stations, 2,500 customers. It's a significant amount of lift stations for this small facility. And they, of course, all require operations, maintenance, and infrastructure upgrades. Now, of course, the lift stations have pumps in them, and these pumps require frequent maintenance. And we want to make it clear to all of our customers the importance of not putting anything down the toilet that doesn't belong down the toilet. We find every manner of things stuck in these pumps, sneakers, rags, wipes, clothing, toys, tools, you name it, we find it. It's extremely expensive and time consuming to clean and to pull these pumps and retrofit them and rehab them and put them back in service. And it is critical to the operation of the system that we actually have these pumps operating. So here's an aerial overview of the entire treatment plant area with all the clarifiers and the tertiary treatment and the ponds. And this just gives you kind of an aerial view of all the infrastructure, the very important infrastructure that is out at the treatment plant. And in 2004, we did an upgrade to 3rd unit processes. We added an aeration basin, secondary clarifier, and replaced a tertiary filter system. We did that using a $4.2 million state loan that we are paying off through 2024. So that's coming up. This tertiary filter system allows us to do advanced wastewater treatment, allows us to irrigate, and allows us to have very clean wastewater through, when we're done with the treatment process. So it has numerous benefits to the district. And then in 2011, we upgraded to a ultraviolet disinfection system. We were required to do that. The regulators required that we do this. It does have lots of benefits. We don't have to deal with chlorine or chlorine byproducts. But UV disinfection is costly to operate and maintain, but it is a very highly advanced disinfection system, which is excellent for the district. It cost almost $4 million, and we got $2 million in state loan forgiveness, which was essentially saying, okay, we're going to give you a $2 million grant, but then we're going to make you pay back $2 million in interest-free state loans, and we're going to be paying that back through 2032. And then moving along in 2014, we did another upgrade. We constructed 2 extended aeration biological nutrient removal activated sludge basins. That's a lot of words, big mouthful. And it cost about $2.8 million, and it reduces nitrogen and phosphorus-based nutrient discharges to the Russian River. So again, another large infrastructure project. You can see the magnitude of it there. But it also allows us to provide highly treated wastewater and limit discharges of nitrogen and phosphorus to the Russian River. And then we have 3 secondary clarifiers. Those also help in getting us to advanced wastewater treatment and clean wastewater at the end of the treatment process. And as we stand right now, we are in the process of doing seismic retrofits to those clarifiers. It's costing about $3.1 million. We got $2.28 million in a FEMA grant to offset those costs. We were able to do that because in 2018, we put together a local hazard mitigation plan. FEMA requires that we have that. Our board of directors approved that plan and we submitted it to FEMA. They approved it, and that allows us to address natural hazards at the treatment plant and within the system. And mitigate those and use FEMA grant funding to help offset those costs. So it's a very important process, and we'll talk a little bit more about that, the local hazard mitigation planning process in a moment. And then we also have 2 holding ponds that have a 4.5 million gallon storage capacity. And it allows us to store a lot of wastewater, which is excellent. Doesn't always work when we have torrential downpours going for multiple days. But nonetheless, these storage ponds play a very significant role. And then to round out the infrastructure for the district, we have an irrigation system. We have 16,500 feet of irrigation piping. And this piping that you can see, those squiggly white lines up in the top of the picture and to the lower right in the picture, that allow us to discharge, use treated wastewater to irrigate forest outside the plant and on 43 acres at Northwood Golf Course, and it cost us $680,000 to do that. And now we're going to start talking about some of the proposed projects for the next budget cycle, which begins July 1st, this coming July 1st. The first one, the most important or a significant one, is the Force Main Headworks and Lift Station Upgrade Project. This is a 10-year project. It is state funded. State will be providing $8 million or more in grant funding to help us offset the cost of this project. The planning and assessment phase is only being, the state is covering 75% of costs. For the construction phase, the state has indicated that they will pay 100% of the construction contracts, which will be a significant benefit to the district. And this is aging infrastructure, and the needs are beginning to mount as our customers may be aware. We have had several emergency repairs in the last several months now, 6 months, that have been very costly. And this Force Main project is part of the work that will help fix some of the problems that those emergencies created, or why those emergencies created. The Force Main project, this project will help fix some of this aging infrastructure. And then we have some lift station electrical resiliency project and electrical service replacement projects. And the projects that we're presenting here, they're multi-year projects. None of them get done in 1 year. This one is going to cost about $6 million. It's going to cover, Vacation Beach and other lift stations. Very critical to get this electrical service to be more resilient and upgraded. And then to round out the proposed projects, again, these are not all of the projects, but these are the major and significant projects that are proposed for next fiscal year and are part of the proposed budget. We need to do a UV system, the ultraviolet system retrofit. It's going to take approximately up to 4 years and cost maybe up to 1.3 million. We've got a main lift underground diesel storage tank, and we've got to replace it. This is a regulatory requirement. We have 3 years to complete it, and we're estimating that that will cost $1 million. And then we have a number of plans that we are working on. We have to update the local hazard mitigation plan by 2023, because the last one was 2018 and it's on a 5-year cycle. And in order to get continued FEMA funding, as I mentioned, in order to continue to build hazard mitigation capability at the treatment plant and within the district, we need to have this plan updated. We're also working on a treatment plant master plan so we can better plan for operations and maintenance and infrastructure improvements going forward. And we're looking for funding for that program. And all of these capital projects that are in the budget, we either have grant funding for them or we are seeking funding for them to help offset the costs. Operations and maintenance projects cannot be grant funded. We cannot, it's very rare to see grant funding for O&M type projects. So getting down to the dollars and cents, expenditures of the district proposed for next fiscal year are $9.5 million. And that is comprised of about almost 50% is routine maintenance or operations and maintenance. On top of that, we have another 26% that are maintenance projects, and maintenance projects include new blowers and valves and collection system repairs and pump repairs, and also the studies that I was talking about. And then we have 2.1 million in capital projects, and then we pay about 400,000 in debt service on prior capital projects that we have completed constructing. So now if you see that the operations and maintenance costs are 4.5 million, the maintenance projects are 2.5 million, that adds up to $7 million. Now on the revenue side, you will see that we have sewer service charges. So those are the charges that we charge our customers to pay for operations and maintenance and debt service and capital projects. So the sewer service charges, even with the rate increase that I'm going to show you in a minute that we're proposing for next fiscal year, this is less, this is 5.9 million, and it's not even going to cover the operations and maintenance costs of the system. And again, as I said, we're trying to offset all of the capital projects or the majority of the capital project expenditures with grant funding and other contributions. But you may well know that grant funds don't always cover 100% of the costs, that there's often match funding that has to come from the district. So you can see here that there is definitely, we have mounting infrastructure needs. We have the costs are increasing. We're in an inflationary period, and we have increasing costs for capital projects. We have supply chain issues, and all of this is driving up costs. Our rate increase for this year for the district was 4%. We made every effort to keep that rate increase as low as possible because of the pandemic and the economic stress and hardships on the district. The rate increase proposed for next fiscal year is 8.9%. And that rate increase is needed to address these mounting infrastructure issues. And again, as I mentioned, we're doing everything we can to get as much grant funding as possible to cover as much of the capital costs as we possibly can. What this means to ratepayers is that they will be paying approximately $13 more per month for sewer service. And again, we're trying as best we can to balance, you know, the sewer service charges with grant funding and funding from other sources. Even with this 8.9% rate increase, our rate increases over the past 10 years average 4.8%. This is a very small district. We have an economy of scale issue here. We don't have enough customers to cover all of the infrastructure needs and operations and maintenance needs that are out there. I'm just going to switch quickly and round this discussion out with public outreach and education. We often do tours at the facility. This is meant to kind of help give you a little mini tour of the facility today. We haven't been able to do the tours because of the pandemic. We publish an annual Prop 218 newsletter that will be coming out at the end of March, and it will have much of this information available to all of our customers in it. This is what the newsletter typically looks like, and it's chock full of information about everything that we're doing out at the district and how we set our rates and our budget. It also has the Prop 218 protest notice in it, and customers should be aware to look out for that in that newsletter. And then just more outreach, just letting our customers know it is so critically important that wipes clog pipes, and not to flush anything that should not go down to the sewer, because it costs so much money and time and resources to maintain the system, and the money could be spent making the improvements that we need to make. And also just want to direct you to our website, sonomawater.org/RRCSD. We have a wealth of information there about the district, and we also have information there for our customers on water use efficiency rebates. And with that, I am going to open it up for questions. Any questions you might have?
Thank you so much. Let's turn it over to the council first. If anyone has any questions from the council, and can we close her screen down? There we go. All right, Vesta.
I see that you're still doing your marketing campaign around things like wipes. There are a lot of people who think that a wipe is literally toilet paper and biodegradable. And it's amazing how many people think of a sewer system really differently from a septic system and from a toilet itself. I'm wondering how much is those wipes, which can destroy, the septic systems, how much are those which are so commonly used, especially with people with babies who are on diapers? How much of those are a problem, and how much further can we do to educate people on that? How much is it costing you to clear those out of your equipment?
Lynn, I can address that. My name is David Royal, Operations and Maintenance Manager at the Water Agency. Thank you all for having us. Yeah, it's an incredible problem, not only here, but throughout the country. The problem is the manufacturers of these wipes market them as disposable. And every package that you see in the store, it'll say disposable wipes. And so people take that to mean flush them down the toilet. There's legislation underway in California as well as federally to stop that kind of labeling on the packages. And if you Google, fatbergs or wipes in sewers, you're going to see incredible videos all over the world demonstrating this problem. It is very expensive. It kills pumps. And Lynn mentioned the 11 lift stations we have. If those lift stations become clogged and can no longer pump wastewater, the wastewater backs up in the collection system and can lead to SSOs. So we do everything we can to maintain those pumps on a regular basis, and we have crews on standby around the clock. So when word comes out that a lift station has gone down due to failed pumps, we can respond to it immediately. I don't have a dollar amount of how much wipes cause the problem, but it's significant, not only in the Russian River, but throughout Sonoma County.
Thank you.
Nick, you're on mute.
Can you define SSO for us who
I'm sorry,
don't
yes.
know?
Sanitary sewer overflow.
So I know that there are some people who, Guerneville residents, who are uncomfortable in this format, but who are really interested in this topic. So I'd love to be able to work to get a town hall meeting in an open forum. We can do this after Vestas sometime in April to have a more of a Q&A format, because I know there are a lot of questions out there about this. So Leo, I know Lynda and I and you have talked about this. If we can, further that conversation, that'd be great.
Sure, we can definitely coordinate with the water agency so that the community can get their questions answered, definitely.
And then also, I mean, I live near one of those lift stations, and we've got some work going on the Guerneville Park lift station. The neighbors are really concerned about things going on there that aren't supposed to be going on, and permanent improvements in a lot that is restricted for permanent improvements for that lift station. So we could also, get a meeting with those folks and explain to us what your plans for this lot are and what remedies you are to the improvements that you've made. Okay, thanks.
Just
I'll
a
just
quick-
Lisa,
I'll just
I was gonna
confirm that
be-
we'll have that meeting. That one we've discussed, and we'll put that together and make that meeting happen. Thank you.
Sure. Just a quick one. Thanks, Lynn. That was super informational. I really appreciate it. I just had a quick question about the age of all the infrastructure. Like what time frame are we talking about when we talk about how it's aging? I just don't know, wanted to know.
Kent, do you want to talk about that? I know it went into operation in 1983, at least the plant itself. So it's 40 plus years, but I don't know all of the details about all of the equipment.
Yeah, thanks. Kent Gilfie, Deputy Chief Engineer. Yeah, I mean, you stated it, Lynn. I mean, the system was activated in 1983 for the most part. There's not been, we've highlighted what the major upgrades or expansions have been. Lynn covered the big work, but the majority of the system is still the original system that was designed. So, yep, it is 40 years old. A lot of the mechanical elements of it aren't designed to be operated for 40 years. There's clearly been some, maintenance replacements and such, but like those 11 lift stations in particular, after nearly 40 years of service, there are some dire needs to upgrade and rehabilitate those lift stations, as well as other elements of the pipes involved. So 40 years is for a lot of the infrastructure.
Anyone else have a comment or question on the council? All right, we're gonna move to the public.
Yes, we have a hand raised. We have a couple of hand raised, but Lucy Hardcastle also posted one in the Q&A that I'll go ahead and read.
Okay.
What percentage of households are on the sewer system versus septic tanks?
I do not know the answer to that. Kent, any guess?
I wouldn't say that I know the answer either, but I would ask the question: percentage within what area? I mean, within the district. I'm understanding all the homes within the district boundary are connected. So what communities are we referring to?
Right. So if you're within the boundaries of the district that was shown on that map, you have to be connected to the sewer. But if you're outside of those boundaries, then you may not very well be on sewer. You might be on septic, likely, right?
Correct.
If I could just add, the Board of Supervisors did appropriate $350,000 in the budget this past year, and the core purpose of that is to understand what the landscape is in the county around who's on septic and what septic seems to be permitted and not, in order to understand what improvements are going to be needed in the future. So that work, along with the TMDL, total maximum daily load work related to Monterey and Villa Grande. Alicia used to be the ombudsperson for that, and she's now with the water boards. But basically, that the person in the CAO's office who will be doing the countywide wastewater work will also be doing the TMDL ombudsperson work. So it'll be a really good integration, and it'll have the whole county thinking about these important issues.
Thanks.
So we'll have more information. That data has started to be dug into.
All right, Mike Nicholls, I see your hands up.
Thank you, Chair. I appreciate you recognizing me. I had a question of the water agency regarding running a 5 or 7 year forecast so that rate smoothing could take effect. When we look at average rate increases of 4.8%, that kind of tacks on with inflation and so forth. But when we see a 8.9% jump, especially during these times, it's extremely troubling to me, and I'm sure to many of the other ratepayers, why we're not smoothing our rates out a little bit more.
So that's a good question. As you can see, we do have 5+ year long range financial plans, and we have been trying not to increase rates and trying to operate and maintain the system, and it is becoming increasingly difficult to do so. And because we are in a period with high inflation, construction costs and material and equipment costs that are a lot higher than previously, fuel costs that are significantly higher, we have found the need for to have a higher rate increase going forward to bring the district closer to being able to be self-supporting, which it isn't currently. And we understand that this is a high increase, that it's 8.9% is a big increase, and it's needed in order to make sure that we don't continue to have that we are able to keep up with infrastructure improvements and the operation and maintenance of the system. We feel like we have these needs that are mounting and we're not keeping up with them. And this rate increase is needed in order to be able to address those needs.
Chair, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. Cynthia, I see you have your hand raised. Did you get your question answered and your hand's just still up? Cynthia, are you there?
Go ahead, Cynthia. Unmute yourself.
I am. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
I think, okay. Yeah, thank you. I have essentially 3 questions for you. First, I wanted to thank you for doing all of these major upgrades, because you're right. It's very old infrastructure and it absolutely needs all this. So thank you, thank you. But what I'm wondering, as I'm sure you know, the Guerneville plant has sustained quite a few violations, really from its inception. And the last large violation was due to the 2019 flood. So I am wondering whether or not your expectation is that these improvements will essentially bring the plant into compliance with the State Water Board's criterion.
This is David. I can address that, and then Kent, maybe if you want to dovetail at the end. Yeah, we have had numerous conversations. Is somebody speaking? Yeah, we've had numerous conversations with the state board and the regional board on this. A lot of the violations you refer to are about our discharge into the river after treatment of water, wastewater. And as you know, in those, especially in 2019 and 2017, the significant storms that came through simply overwhelmed the system. You know, you saw this, the holding ponds we have at the plant, they're just not large enough to hold the amount of water that comes in those significant storms. And so we've worked with the water board, and we continue to do so, about alternatives to treatment, about alternatives to storage, about, programs such as shutting off sections of the collection system during these high flows. Our goal, of course, is to have no violations, because that takes away from our bottom line and yours. But it's difficult for me to sit here and guarantee that we can eliminate any violation in the future. There's so many variables such as weather that we just don't have control over. We're working towards mitigating that as much as possible. But to say that I guarantee it, it would be hard.
I think you covered it well, David. I mean, even some of the districts that don't face, flooding and major storm events contribute to a lot of our issues out there at Russian River. even some of the sanitation districts that we maintain that don't face those kind of flooding situations, even those, can still encounter SSOs. So it's hard to have, 100% compliance all the time. But with the flooding events out there, in particular, Russian River poses specific challenges for us. But as David pointed out, trying to work with the regional board to try to address that as best we're able.
And if I could just add one more thing, I mean, our permit that was issued by the regional board and the state board, prohibit any illegal discharge of wastewater at any time. I mean, there's no arguing that point. And so if there is an illegal discharge or a problem arises, they have to come after us and say, you have a discharge, we have to address this. So I think, from the public standpoint, the state and regional boards are definitely looking out for everyone's best interest. I'm not going to say they are not compassionate towards some of our challenges, but it's a zero discharge permit. And so, in terms of illegal discharge. And so it's a challenge that we face, every winter.
Next, we have Brenda Adelman. And just a reminder to the attendees, I don't know if we announced it or not, but your comment question period is limited to 2 minutes. And once you get to 30 seconds remaining in your period, a clock will appear.
All right, Brenda.
Okay, Brenda.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, I want to say that I really appreciate the presentation. It's answered some of the questions I've had for quite a while now. And I'm disappointed in the fee raise, but we'll basically probably have to live with that under the circumstances. I basically have one question for now. And that is, there is a 120 unit motel with a swimming pool and other facilities that are going to, I believe, add a lot of waste to the system, right in a location where some of the worst problems have been with the force main. Is anything, as far as I can find out, there's been absolutely no addressing of this issue. I've asked and asked, I've talked to regional board, and the regional board did not address it. And as far as I know, your agency did not address it, but perhaps you can enlighten me on that. What's going to happen, and can they be asked to contribute any extra money towards the project, because it would have a huge impact, mainly on the force main and the electrical.
Apparently from our silence, none of the three of us are that intimately familiar, I suppose, with that particular proposal. Brenda, do you happen to know if the proposal is within the general plan? The current one? And I simply ask the question because, generally the district is committed to meeting the build out of the general plan. Sometimes we have limitations, we're unable to do that. Or is this a development that is exceeding what the current general plan has? And I guess I just add to that, typically the system does have adequate dry weather capacity when we to handle new development within the district boundaries. The wet weather conditions that we described earlier under flooding conditions, that's another story, but most of the time of the year that's not an issue.
But are we able to say that or put in some mitigation measures or request mitigation measures from the developer to address those? I don't know how that works, but
we certainly have, yes. I mean, certainly in other districts as well, when we're in constrained portions of our system, we've required that the developer mitigate for their increased impact. That's usually applies, that's what kind of the reason I asked the question about the general plan too. When these projects get involved with general plan amendments and building above and beyond what the general plan requires, that particularly oftentimes triggers these additional mitigation measures. Unfortunately, I'm not particularly familiar with what stage this project is at, or what we may be or may not be asking in that regard.
If I know we're on public comment, but if I can jump in, I was on Sweetwater Springs Water District Board, and the project that that was just brought up was known by, I know, Sweetwater for many years now, and the district has been constantly involved making sure that capacity was there for the new resort. So I'm somewhat surprised that you guys don't know. It's not a big giant region. And it would be great if you can get back to us and let us know about that particular issue.
Yeah,
I can also.
Go ahead, Lee.
I was just going to add that Permit Sonoma has recently posted a notice. So I mean, I can just read the key passage, which is that they are having a BZA hearing, Board of Zoning Adjustments hearing on February 24th. And so the permit that they're currently going for, it says, the Sonoma County Board of Zoning Adjustments will hold a virtual public hearing to consider adopting a mitigated negative declaration and an action approving a use permit in which all interested persons are invited to attend and provide comments. So that's where it is in the process. It's going before the BZA in a week. And the materials are posted on Permit Sonoma's website, or should be if they're not. They should be soon if they're not already.
Okay, Chair, you're muted.
Sorry, I keep forgetting. Anyone else in the public have a comment before we move on?
We have one. We have one from Facebook. I'll read.
Okay.
It's Ryan Berkmos, and his question is: are there any plans to add properties to the treatment system? We live in Northwood.
So I'm sorry, this is David. I guess the question is, do we plan on expanding the footprint of our treatment plant? Is that the question?
I think generally, yes.
Okay. Yeah, as far as I know, there is no plan to acquire any additional property to increase the size of the plant.
Okay, we have two questions in the Q&A. I'll read questions comment from Mark, and he states 120 unit resort hotel demand was likely evaluated on a compliant system that is not failing. Force main busting, lift station problems. If the system is demonstrating failures, is it logical to add additional load burden on an already failing system? He adds, add load demand without mitigation in the form of upgrades, improvements, etc. And panelists, you do have access to these Q&As if it helps to be able to visually see them.
Yep. Okay.
I just want to add one thing. I know in the developer's presentations for this resort, he has stated many times in the public arena that he has specifically gotten an okay that there is room in the system for his resort. So it's really distressing to hear you guys not know anything about this, because he's repeatedly made this claim to us. We brought this question up over and over, and he's like, oh, nope, I know the folks at sanitation have given me the okay. So yeah, we'd like some clarification, please.
Yeah, I'll apologize that between the three of us, apparently we haven't been quite as directly involved in this particular development, but what I'm understanding is that it's been heard from the district that we have indicated that there is capacity to handle the development. I don't know if that's coming with extra mitigation to offset those demands or that added load or not. I apologize for that. I'm happy to try to follow up and try to get answers to that. Just unfortunately, I don't have that information offhand.
All right, thanks. Mike, you still have your hand up. Were you wanting to ask another question? We have time for another one. Mike Nicholls.
No, I unfortunately had my hand up in.
Oh, okay, okay. Jason, I don't see any other questions or hands raised. Do you?
I do not.
Okay, great. Thank you guys for giving us that presentation. And it would be great to circle back about this one particular issue that's of high interest to a lot of us out here at the Lower Russian River.
What is the best way for us to return information to the MAC on that subject?
You can send it to 5th District, or you can send it to my email, which I can get it to you as well.
If we get it to Leo, is that?
Yeah,
is that-
if you get it to Leo, that's fine.
Okay, great.
And I'll make sure that it's distributed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, great, thanks. Okay, next up, we have a proposed letter to PG&E that Mike Nicholls wrote. I hope you've all had a chance to read it. And we just need to have a motion to approve so we can send it on as something from the Lower Russian River MAC.
I move that we adopt that letter.
I second.
I have a question.
Raise the hands. I think that's everybody. Okay. Thanks. Thank you, Mike, for writing that.
I think, do you have to take public comment?
Yep.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Leo's right. Do we have any public comment on the letter that Mike wrote?
Mike Nicholls has a public comment.
Thank you.
Mike, go ahead.
Mike, I believe you muted yourself.
Do want to make one change and add Jill Ravitch, our district attorney, to the letter, since Sonoma County is involved with the suit with PG&E. It's important that we include District Attorney Ravitch on this copy list.
All right, thanks, Mike.
You're welcome.
Lisa?
Very quickly, if I had a couple of comments on the letter, would I be making them now or just not be making them?
Yeah, you can make them.
Okay, so Mike, what a punchy and amazing letter. First of all, I just wanted to note that your computer wrote treat at one point where I think you meant threat. Also, I was thinking maybe there could be a regarding line, which could be punchy, like call it the outage of January 8th, because people are going to be talking about this for a long time. Also, I rode by and took a photo of the pole today if you want to include it. And I have the pole number if you need that, because the people that you copy on the letter might want to sort of look up the pole so that they have more familiarity. But in general, it was an amazing letter. I don't know if you were interested in any of those comments, but I just thought I'd mention them. Thank you for doing the letter. It's amazing.
I think those are great comments. And
is there a way to transmit those comments that
yep,
is?
we can do that here.
Okay. All right. So do you want me to type them in the chat or?
Sure. And I wrote them down as well.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll type them really quickly in the chat while we move on. Okay.
Any other, Nick?
Oh, I'm just moving that we accept the letter as amended.
Yep. And so the amendments, just so everyone's aware, are that we will copy Jill Ravitch. We will fix the typo from treat to threat. And maybe put a subject line in with specifically mentions the outage on January 8th, and then add a picture and the poll number into the letter.
Yes. And also, did we want to invite them to a forum here? I just sort of thought of that also, but maybe we don't. I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. With those changes, and we have a first from Nick, correct? Okay. Anyone second? motion? Vesta number 2, hands raised, folks. Eyes, raise your hands. Great. Thanks again, Mike. And great suggestions, Lisa. Okay. We are on to staff reports. I don't know if Lynda is here or not.
Lynda should be joining shortly.
Okay. Should we maybe skip that and go on to the council reports?
Yes, I think that's fine. And then Lynda can jump in when it's appropriate.
Okay, so we're gonna move to the ad hoc reports, and Lisa, you're up first. You're gonna talk on more work that you've been doing on the trash committee.
Trash committee. So one thing that we came up with was there's this trash tracker is so massive that why don't we do a little sort of trash, highlighting trash at the beginning of the meeting. So that was what led to the leave note. Elise invited Claudia, who spoke about leave no trace. So I've spoken to a woman who works on the Bye Bye Mattress program and invited her to come on in April to talk about that program, because I've seen now 4 mattresses in my riding and driving around, only 4. So, and I keep seeing them. So hopefully we'll get her. And then I'm hearing a fair bit about trash bins, and we need to have like some sort of good looking trash bins with 3 spots around all of our towns. So working on bringing more topics to you all the time, thinking about it all the time. And we want to have more visibility to adopt a road and adopt a highway. So I think I might be coming around to all your little group, Friends of Rio Neato and Friends of Villa Grande and everyone else chambers, to see if we can get some more of River Road and surroundings dialed in with adopting, picking up trash, because Vesta can't do it all on her own. But thank you for wearing a vest, a fluorescent vest, Vesta. Thank you.
Did you get a picture
of Vesta? I'm going to next time, because now that I won't hit her where she picks up trash, I will take a photo of her. And yeah, that's it. That's all I have to say. I'll finish my notes here.
All right, thanks, Lisa. And any comments from the council on the trash report? Vesta.
I have a question, because there's there was once a program where people were handed out paper bags, literally, so that they could just, when they're taking a walk, pick up trash. The big thing is, where do you put the trash once you pick it up? And on my route, which I keep clean, and I got to say, cigarette butts and alcohol beverage containers are the majority of what I pick up. And then I get into, there was an accident and there's glass and there's this. But there's some stuff that I have to pick up that's going to taking it from below the road up to the road. And then when I do that, I would love to know if there's a place I can pick up those orange bags that TPW uses and Clean River Alliance used to use, so that I don't have to take this to the dump and pay $60 to get rid of it. Is it possible that the county has a program for this already in existence? What do we do with this stuff when we pick it up? Where do we take it that doesn't cost us money?
I will find out.
Thank you.
I have a comment slash question, I guess. Has the ad hoc looked at programs that used to exist, for instance, where the county would chip in some money, work with what's the name of the garbage company? Why am I? Recology,
and,
right? And like we worked like Friends of Rio Neato with the 2 of them to bring extra dumpsters into Rio Neato. We do a cleanup day where we have people bring stuff. They can dump it into the containers. We did drive-arounds, the neighborhood, collected stuff, put it in the dumpster, and then everything was taken out of the community.
Yes, let's do it. I'll find out from Ecology. Yep.
And we did this a number of years ago in downtown Forestville. The most important thing about those dumpsters, have them delivered the morning of the cleanup. Do not have them delivered the night before. People know about the cleanup and they fill the dumpsters with their personal trash. So it's really important to have room in those dumpsters for the cleanups that are officially made.
Right. And we have documentation on what they can take and what they can't take and how it all worked if we want to share that with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
All right. Any other council members have any questions for Lisa? All right, let's go to public comment. I'm gonna switch lists.
Chair, I don't see any hands raised.
Okay. All right. What about on Facebook?
I think no comments.
I don't think that's there. So I think that is it for that.
I believe so.
Okay.
We do have the supervisor here now.
Oh, okay. Do you want to talk about trash or Supervisor Hopkins? All right. Okay. We'll go to Lynda now, and then we'll come back to land use in Kyra when we're done with this.
Thank you so much, Chair. And I do want to apologize for missing, but it's sort of the meeting, but it's sort of a sorry, not sorry. My daughter turned 7 today. And so we were celebrating her birthday. And it was one time that I did not want to have kind of a meeting running in the background, but just kind of cherish that moment. So sorry that I was not here, but I'm also glad that I was able to spend it with her. A few quick updates about things that I am super excited about. And really hope that the Lower Russian River MAC will help us lean in on the community engagement side. Leo and I met with Permit Sonoma Director Tennis Wick and his sort of top senior planning staff to talk about the $150,000 that we set aside. It was a couple budget hearings ago for a Lower Russian River specific area plan. Now that we are sort of through the thick of the pandemic and the fire recovery that really diverted a lot of their resources, we're going to refocus in on this plan. It really provides an opportunity to look at what do we want the future of the Lower Russian River to be, including things like where do we want to have bike and pedestrian access? Where would we want to, in the long run, actually have sidewalks, right? I know that we have a lot of unincorporated areas that don't have ADA access. So things like that. And one of the things that Permit Sonoma staff is going to be working on is trying to leverage our $150,000 to secure grant funding to really go for a full-scale specific area plan, which would really allow the community to have kind of a voice in planning and not just have the Lower Russian River be subsumed into the countywide general plan, but really give it its own kind of mission and purpose and land use planning opportunity. Simultaneously, we're also actually launching our local governance study from district formation funds. And this is something that Elise Weiland has been working on. And we want to really look at, hey, what is the MAC doing? But what are the other unmet needs in the community? And is, the Municipal Advisory Council kind of where we want to stop at local self-governance in the Lower Russian River, or are there opportunities to push things further? So it's an open question of kind of what are the community needs, and where do we want to go from here? That also brings me to, I know you've heard a lot already about wastewater today. But we're also going to be looking at kind of West County wide wastewater issues, kind of beyond potentially the RRCSD, looking at the implementation of the TMDL. And we also have some money socked away for that, for looking at how do we help support septics come into compliance with the total maximum daily load mandated by the Regional Water Quality Control Board. So that's something that I'm personally planning on investing a lot of energy in this year, even though it's not sort of the sexiest topic, but it is so essential in West County and sort of for the future survivability, quite frankly, of our, sort of local rural communities. Last thing, and I'm going to sort of tee this off for Jason, unless there are any questions. We are continuing to try to work with Caltrans on the ADA improvements for downtown Guerneville, and we're looking at sort of potentially matching that with some lighting district funds to make some improvements in street lighting so that we have consistent street lighting, that it's also sort of the kind of street light that will last forever, as opposed to work increasingly, since we have really old street lights, like basically something breaks and you can't actually get a new part for it. So then we wind up with kind of a patchwork of some newer and some older lights. And we're kind of thinking that, hey, if we got kind of a new set of design lights that people really like, that maybe that would be a good thing for the downtown to have consistency and kind of show an investment in the community. So those are kind of some of my updates. It's a lot of planning stuff, which I'm really hoping will not just be that kind of plan that you put on a shelf and leave, but will actually really catalyze us into action and help sort of see some, quite frankly, economic investments into the lower Russian River area, including public sector investments in terms of, sidewalks and parks and opportunities like that. Because basically, if you want to get grant funding, unfortunately in government, you've got to have a plan. And so if we have a plan and we say, hey, look, this is where we want the sidewalks, this is where we want the bike paths, this is where we need more pedestrian access, this is where we need a safe route to school, that will actually allow us to access money when there are dollars on the table, like there are right now at the state and federal government, to actually give into our community. And because we do also qualify in the lower Russian River disadvantaged community, we actually have access to some funds that other communities wouldn't otherwise have. But again, you kind of need to have a plan in order to access that. So the goal is to try to unlock more money for the lower Russian River and to really look to all of you as that, kind of liaison to the community and really want to make sure that you are the tip of the spear on these multiple planning efforts that we're also going to try to make sure they're not siloed, but they're all kind of rowing in the same direction. So happy to answer any questions about that. And then I know that at some point, and it's up to you, Chair, when you want to do it, we do have a little kind of survey that we wanted to run to see what folks like in terms of the different light options for the Caltrans work.
All right, well, why don't we do questions and answers, and then we'll do the survey. Anyone on the council have any questions for Lynda? Vesta.
Specific plans, I went looking for the Guerneville specific plan that was done about 20 years ago. Duncans Mills had a specific plan that was done a little bit before then. Forestville had one that was in the late 80s. I couldn't find them online on the Permit Sonoma website. And I was wondering if one of those reasons is because I saw something on there that says that specific plans are only valid for a certain period of time, like a number of decades. And I'm wondering if all those specific plans that we put together in historically are no longer valid. And that's one of the reasons why we need to do a new one.
That is a great question. So typically either a general plan or a specific plan are good for 20 years. That's kind of the general life cycle of a planning document. I have actually seen those. I know they exist. Back when we used to have more in-person meetings, I was over at Permit Sonoma and I remember just kind of getting them all out on the table and pouring through all of them. And I will say that they are definitely dated and I think in need of some updating. But that's definitely where any kind of consultants and any kind of community that work with it, we would start. We would make sure that we have copies of those plans available so that we don't try to reinvent the wheel. We look at the past, we want to honor the past, and then also, move into the future, which I really want to bring more kind of bike and pedestrian access because we have so many great neighborhoods that could walk to a local coffee shop or a park if you didn't have to kind of dive out of the way of traffic, on your way to try to make those neighborhood trips. So.
All right. Any other council members have questions for Supervisor Hopkins? Kyra.
Hi, Supervisor Hopkins, I'm sorry to bring this back up, but I have been inundated with calls and comments from people. And I know you and I had some discussion about Moscow Road, but in representing my constituents out there on this call, I need to ask you about Moscow Road and then the parking enforcement for Lower Russian River starting possibly in May. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that up. And I wish that I had covered that actually. So we are planning on holding a local community meeting, which I know we emailed about. We are in an extraordinarily frustrating position on Moscow Road. When the damage occurred, right back in the federally declared disaster of 2019, FEMA went through and they evaluated every single site that we said, hey, we qualified for public assistance because you declared a national disaster. This is how this works, right? And they approved or rejected sites. At that point in time, Moscow Road was approved, meaning that it is eligible for FEMA funding. And yet what has happened is that our TPW crew, and I trust Johannes, and I know he is constantly pulling for West County, and he has done a lot of really good work to try to get us recovered from our disasters as quickly as we possibly can. He has gone through all of the different hoops, right? He has done the sort of engineering, the design work, gotten the required permits from the state and federal government, only to at the final hour be actually told by FEMA, oh no, we're rejecting your plans. So FEMA, the organization that's supposed to help us recover from disasters, is really creating a very dangerous situation for everyone who relies on Moscow Road as an evacuation route. So it's a huge problem. And I'm actually going to be hoping that we can work with the community to advocate at the federal level. We need to start writing letters to our congressmen, to our senators, And, if we can get a direct contact at FEMA to them as well. We can also reach out to Cal OES, because until now, here's the other crazy thing. FEMA has refused to talk directly to the county about our issues. They go through Cal OES. So we have to go through the state, who then goes to the feds, who then goes back to the state, who then goes back to us. We finally, in about a week and a half, have set up a meeting with their external affairs person. And so we'll be able to make our case in person. We also have our federal lobbyists working on this as a top priority to try to lobby in DC to sort of get us where we need to go. But it's a top priority of mine. I've talked to Johannes. That is really one of the top 2 projects that we're going to try to do our best to advocate with FEMA. But it's really unfortunate that the feds, who are supposed to kind of keep you safe and help you recover from disasters, could potentially create a new one by not having this critical evacuation route open. So totally agree. I would have to double check on Elise on the exact timing of the parking enforcement, but I do know that she has been working directly with CHP on the contract for additional parking enforcement over the summer. So again, we can look into that and make sure we've got the timing. And I don't know exactly where she is in the process, but I know that's a big top priority for her, and want to thank the parking ad hoc for all of their work. Oh, and by the way, I also want to thank the trash ad hoc. And Lisa, it was cracking me up because as soon as I sat on the meeting, I was hearing about mattresses on the side of the road. What was I talking about over dinner with my in-laws? Mattresses on the side of the road. So everyone who lives in unincorporated Sonoma County is seeing it. And actually my in-laws were also mentioning they've been seeing increasingly like canisters of used motor oil on the side of the road, because now apparently there's nowhere to take used motor oil. So folks who change their own oil, like you can't take it to anyway. So I'm on it. I promise my in-laws I will follow up, and I will also follow up with you, Lisa.
Can I ask a follow-up question to Kyra's on, and this is specifically on FEMA. Did I hear correctly that you said projects that were approved for funding through FEMA are now not approved, or are they delayed? And the second part of that is we also had a project that was approved by FEMA, right, on some culvert work here. Is that now off the table, or is it a delayed thing? Because I just trying to understand what's going on.
Yep. So they're basically rejecting our design, and which is kind of ludicrous. Like, and for instance, on West Side Avenue, they were saying, well, the retaining wall has to go on the other side of the road. And we're like, we can't put it on the other side of the road because literally there's a house there. So, and then the other interesting thing is that FEMA really seems to be struggling with staffing resources. For instance, the county of Sonoma is having to loan ourselves $22 million because FEMA is not going to be able to pay us in time to close out the fiscal year. And they're like, oh, we'll get it to you next year, but we can't do it in time. And actually, Johannes was able to get the West Side Avenue determination overturned on a Friday. By Sunday, the project person who had made the call to override the sort of, rejection that they had given us had resigned. So there's weird stuff going on at FEMA also, which is kind of concerning. So we're hoping that it's a delay. And not just sort of an outright rejection, but we're also hearing from other counties that they're experiencing the same thing. And no one's ever had this happen before. Like once you get that initial approval, that should be the hardest one to get. And then it should be, yes, we trust the locals to design this in a site appropriate way to meet all of the sort of state and federal guidelines, to comply with the, NEPA and all of the other sort of requirements. But so it's frustrating, and we're hoping that it's a delay, but we're hoping that we're just going to be able to sort of advocate and not have it delayed. But yeah, this is the first time that Johannes has ever seen it. And he's been calling around to other transportation and public works directors, and we are not the only county experiencing it. So I'm like, are they broke and they're just trying to reject people at the last minute, or what's going on? It's something is fishy. It's not good.
Is there anything that we can do?
If you would consider writing a letter, formally from the MAC, regarding the public safety concerns that are being created by FEMA's delays, and kind of the pressing nature of our upcoming fire season. Obviously, we're in a drought. Obviously, things are already pretty dry. It could be a bad year. So if you all would mind lending your voice, I think that could be really powerful.
Would it be helpful if we collected all of the projects that are in the Lower Russian River and put it into a letter that's from the MAC as a whole, and maybe a brief description of why each one of these things are important to the community from either a flooding standpoint or a fire or access or whatever?
Absolutely. And actually, we could provide you with a list of projects, because Johannes sent me a list of all of the ones that are, rejected. And we actually have them tiered in terms of county priorities of what are the ones that we really want to get done. I mean, we all want to get them all done ASAP, but we sort of created a priority tier, of which Moscow is, in the top tier, just FYI. So yeah, that we can provide you that information. And I think a letter about all of them would be fantastic. And if you would be willing to send that to Congressman Huffman, also to
Yep.
Senator Padilla, who's been very responsive to our area, that would be really, really helpful.
Okay. So should I work with Elise on getting those projects, or?
If I can forward you the list from
Okay.
Johannes.
Okay.
That as soon as I jump off the meeting, I will do that. And then, yeah, and if I think, I don't know, in terms of sort of meeting, like you probably want to get the formal approval of the whole, MAC in order to send that out on everyone's behalf. I remember we talked about this protocol. I don't know if we've totally ironed out the details of how that works, but I think it would be really great to have that formal letter.
Okay. Okay. Nick?
I just wanted to say there is a way, we can call an emergency meeting, very specific, oriented to just this letter if we needed to do that, in the next couple of weeks.
All right, great.
That's a great idea. And
Yep.
through
Go
the
ahead.
chair, if I can, that we were talking about having a community meeting on the subject anyway. So if we wanted to make it sort of a special MAC meeting, that's a community meeting, and I could find out with Johannes, what his schedule is, through it, we could provide you a little more than I did tonight. That might not be a bad idea if we can find something that would work for a majority of the board's schedule.
Okay. All right. That's completely a drag, to put it mildly. Okay. Any other questions from the council? All right, let's move to the public. I gotta switch screens here. Do we have I don't see any hands raised in the Zoom audience.
No hands are raised. We do have one comment from Lucy Hardcastle in the Q&A that I'll read.
Okay.
Plans are being made for sidewalks and crosswalks for downtown Forestville for the near future. We'd like to see money from the lighting district go into new, better lighting in Forestville at the same time while all the work is being done.
All right.
There's also some comments in Facebook that I can just read. So Gus Lathan asked any word on Old Caz Road and the FEMA project. And then he also commented that, yes, please, we can mobilize locals to write letters. Separately, David Wabel is asking, Lynda, can you comment on the situation in downtown Guerneville with the unlicensed street soup kitchen? And then as a comment, he says Main Street businesses are concerned about the disruption caused by their operation.
Yeah, one of the frustrating things also in terms of trying to get notifications about things, we're so close to hopefully getting state funding to be able to move forward with the acquisition of George's Hideaway. And I want to recognize that, we're in this kind of frustrating limbo where we don't have, any capacity to accept more unsheltered folks from downtown Guerneville. And so, there were conversations happening of like, could we even potentially lease George's Hideaway as we're sort of going through the process to buy it? And that's something that I will certainly revisit. But I will say that I've also heard some positive conversations in the community about are there other better locations for the supervision services. And so I'm totally open to having those conversations. I believe that a number of members of the community suggested, say, the Guerneville sort of vets parking lot next to the sheriff's substation. I wanted to sort of run that by West County Community Services and General Services and the sheriff. That I have heard conversations about trying to come forward with some kind of community-based solution, but I'd really be looking to our Guerneville MAC reps and to the community to talk through what would make sense. So.
All right, great, thanks. Anyone else on the council side? Oh, I'm sorry, we're in the public. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing.
We had two more questions come up in the Q&A. One is from Austin. Is there an update to the Monte Rio Bridge replacement construction?
I'm really excited that someone asked that question because I actually just got a report from Transportation and Public Works today. We're actually planning on bringing that forward for sort of the, formal things that we have to do, right? Like, approve sort of environmental impact review and move forward with the project this year on the Board of Supervisors calendar. And I actually just reached out to Brian Grant of Praxis Architects this morning to talk a little bit about, are there opportunities to do sort of more beautification of downtown Monterey beyond the actual reach of the bridge? And so, we're kind of looking at, would we be able to work with a local consultant or with another sort of designer to see if we could do kind of a mini, very super small specific area plan to kind of launch our planning efforts, since we have this opportunity with the bridge, kind of like the opportunity with Guerneville of, okay, Caltrans is coming through and doing this ADA work. Let's also fix up the lighting. Let's see what other amenities we can provide. And also the same thing that Lucy mentioned with Forestville, where Lucy, I will absolutely look into the lighting district and see what money we have there, because I think it's another opportunity for downtown beautification. I just feel like we've kind of had the same things in our small town downtowns for so long, and with a little bit of effort, we could really kind of bring things up to date and kind of showcase the wonderful, beautiful downtowns that we have. So definitely interested in doing that in Monterey, and that project with the bridge will be moving forward with formal public hearings at the Board of Supervisors. I believe by August of this year, we should have votes on that. And so that community work has been going on for a few years now. But if you have any questions about that, about the process, or you still want to have some input into design or design sort of like offsite of the bridge, we'll definitely have community meetings about any potential changes. But I just kind of saw it as an opportunity to say, hey, what should we do? Is there any interest in, what's up with the triangle in Monterey? I've heard that so many different times. There might be some opportunities for some fun things besides whoever the person is who puts the beautiful flowers there. Anyway, back to you, Chair.
All right. All right, maybe now is the time for the poll. Jason?
Okay, we do have 2 polls regarding the Caltrans ADA work. I'm going to briefly reference the second question because I did post a PDF file that has lighting designs. I will screen share the designs, but it'll be a little bit clunky because I'll have to scroll through 3 pages, but all the attendees and panelists do have access to that PDF file if you want to take a look at it. But then I will now start with our first question and polling question, which is in regards to what your preference would be for when the work is performed. So I'll launch the poll right now. I'll give us a minute to all respond, and panelists, you will also be able to vote. And the poll's live. Okay, we're about 64% participated. We'll give it just a few seconds longer to see if we can capture a few more responses. Okay, that's going to be about it. And you should be able to see the results here. 63% of the folks who responded selected 5 p.m. to midnight. Okay, now I'll launch this poll and then I'll share the screen, but hopefully you're able to also see the PDF for the street light options. I'll scroll through them once more. Okay. Stop share here, and there are results.
Option B, 69%, option A, 15%, and option C, 15%.
Which one is the one on the bridge?
Okay. Chair, you're on mute.
Am I? Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry. I wasn't on mute. I was just maybe my voice might not have been working. I don't know. Anyway. Okay. So let's move back to ad hoc reports, and we're gonna turn to Kyra to give us an update on land use.
Everybody, so there was a land use committee report that I provided, and on it, I had a typo. I said the last meeting was held January 22nd. It was actually the 27th of January. We discussed the King Ridge Supreme Bicycle event. We actually had the promoter, Miguel, and an associate of him, of his, describe the event and go over any questions that we had. I did find out that the permit was denied, and they're resubmitting it with an alternate map. So we may be talking about it again next month. We talked very basically about the Grand Fondo, and we're going to talk more about it at the next meeting. And then we went over permits of interest, which included the Guerneville gas station, the park in downtown Forestville, food truck wash station in Guerneville, the Lock Guerneville Park Hotel. We didn't really go into that. It's going to the BZA, not the BOZ. Dear God, Kyra. On February 24th, not the 23rd. And I did see that Leo put a web link about the information for the Board of Zoning Adjustments meeting on the 24th in the chat. So please do share that with people who are interested about the Lock Hotel, and if they want to lend their support or their concerns, that would be the place to attend next week. And then we also reviewed the timberland conversion in Forestville, which is on hold at the moment. We have 3 members, Nick, Michael, and Mike Nicholls and myself, that are on the Lower Russian River MAC Land Use Committee. Any questions from anybody?
Council, Lisa.
Sorry, I'm so chatty tonight. What I wanted to say, Kyra, was my comment was that when we have races, either road races or bike races that cross jurisdictions from coast to Lower Russian River, I do think that we should do a special meeting where you guys just have one meeting. I think it's been said, and I think we kind of realized that after the fact, but that,
yeah,
my 2 cents on that whole situation.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that would be the better way to handle it, because we did have Coast MAC members that were in attendance because they found out that we were having Miguel actually present, and they would have liked to have heard that too. And I think since it did, and it will go through, like you said, both jurisdictions, it would be best to have a special meeting.
Great. Any other council comments or questions? All right, let's see who in the public. Does anyone in the public have a question?
No hands are raised.
I don't see hands raised here.
Nothing in the Q&A.
I don't see anything there.
I think we're clear on Facebook too.
Okay, great. Thanks, Kyra. All right, We're going to move to vacation rental report. I'll just remind everyone we're past time now. So Vesta, if you can keep it to 10 minutes, that'd be fantastic.
Okay, the most important thing, and I'm going to do a screen share in a moment, but the most important thing to understand is that the vacation rental ordinance is still in review by county council. The original date that was established for public comments and review for the draft of the ordinance was, it came and went, and now we're having to wait for the next time when the county council has completed that information, that review of the ordinance. I'm going to do a momentary screen share because I really think people need to be paying more attention to keeping up with this because thank you. This is the only way you're going to know when it's time for for people to review the ordinance. And the ordinance, the Lower River MAC, as well as the other MACs around the Sonoma County, have had a tremendous influence on what is going on and what the changes are. And the changes are rather dramatic. I have a full review of it, and this report will be up on the RussianRiverMac.org website that we created specifically for the vacation rental ordinance. I think it's important that people read it because I keep getting people saying the same complaint over and over again, and every one of those complaints has been addressed. One of the most important ones is enforcement. Enforcement is going to change completely because it's no longer a matter of someone trying to look up an address of a vacation rental and trying to find the owner, to report to the owner, to get it into the permit Sonoma to say that there's been a problem. There's going to be a 24-hour hotline. And this thing is coming sooner than the ordinance revision. So we're also going to let you know when that 24-hour hotline is activated. And so within that hotline, you call that hotline. They have the owner or the manager has either 30 minutes to 60 minutes to solve that particular problem. If it's an annoyance kind of issue, light, music, parking, whatever that happens to be. So that's probably one of the biggest changes and that addresses the biggest problems that people have had. And all of this is on our website, RussianRiverMac.org. The licensing program, there's a business licensing program that is coming about that will change. This will no longer be will be in combination, a land use issue as well as an enforcement issue, let's see, land use as well as a business license. And the business license issue means that these people have to apply for a business license and then they have to re-qualify every year. Their licenses are renewed every year, and then they are renewed based upon the performance of the property manager as well as the property owner. And that's really, really important because that means you have an ability to if something goes really wrong and there's a bad player, that bad player will end up losing their license. And that's probably one of the most important things. And because of this 24-hour hotline, it does put a lot of emphasis on property managers being local. So the locally owned property management companies really rise to the top because those are the ones who have to respond. So I think probably the biggest thing that we asked for is this enforcement issue. And again, I'm keeping this up here where you can go and sign up for updates. All of these updates will be given to you. So the property safety inspection and code compliance is also something that is part of the licensing program. And that means that everybody has to meet these requirements. And one of the things about the licensing program that has the potential to also mean that on the coast, there is no vacation rental ordinance because all the vacation rentals are under the jurisdiction of the Coastal Commission. And that will change if this licensing program goes forth. So that's a big plus for people who are in neighborhoods and have a concern with this. The neighborhood density, I'm going to show you the map that is right here. There it is. The map that Sonoma County has put together. These are neighborhood densities for the red district is when more than 10% of the homes are vacation rentals. The blue is when less than 10% of the homes are vacation rentals. So in those red districts, they're literally going to have a cap. The current cap that exists will be maintained if this ordinance goes through as it's proposed. This makes a big difference for our neighborhoods, because then you don't have the fear that another home is going to be turned into a vacation rental instead of a neighborhood. So this 10% means that the county is actually considering the importance of maintaining the quality of life in a neighborhood. And as we all know, that it's the people who live here who create this as an attractive environment for people to visit, and as well as it makes it home. And that makes a big difference to us. And one of those aspects of these neighborhoods is off-street parking. There will be no off-street parking for most of these vacation rentals. They will have to provide their own there will be no on-street parking. And that's one of the reasons, the big changes that we have that's important to us, because emergency vehicles, narrow roads, the emergency vehicles can't get through, residents can't park where they live. So the limitations around parking are going to be a very important part of allowing vacation rentals who are good at this and who have good licenses and operate them well to be an asset to a community and a neighborhood instead of a liability. There's also a limit on occupancy, but I'm going to let that one go because it's more complicated, and I want you to go onto our website to learn that. Emergency preparedness and procedures is one of the things that so many people were concerned about. And because people were knocking on doors when we were in evacuations, that saying, we got to tell the vacation renters that they got to go. And so now the requirement is going to be that there has to be a manual, and that the vacation rental owners and managers must instruct the guests on what this means for when we have warnings and evacuations and fires and emergencies. And it's just not fire alone, it's also all the other emergencies. And then the people who are guests have to leave during the warning stage, as opposed to waiting for when the actual mandatory happens, because it does get crowded, it does get confusing, and they're not familiar with our roads. So they need to leave earlier. And the property manager is responsible for telling these guests to go, and then also making sure that they left. And so that puts a more emphasis on, why do we need local property managers as opposed to people who are out of town that you call an 800 number? Those don't work for us as a community. One of the things that people have said they were really concerned about is fire pits during fire season. And basically, no, you can't have them. And so because of the especially during red flag warnings. So there's a lot of rules that have been changed. And I want to make sure that people do sign up for these updates so that they can get on that line. You can sign up for notices. Please sign up for notices, because that's how you're going to find out when this date is. We will also put the date of the hearing in the RussianRiverMac.org website, and also on the Lower Russian River Mac Facebook page, but not everybody does Facebook. So please sign up for the notices so that you know when it's time for this meeting, that we will get and go through the entire ordinance word by word and give our comments to the county and what we think works for us and does not work for us. I'm very impressed with how involved people have been, and how much people care about where we live, and how important this industry is to our economy, but it can have a negative impact on our ability to live here as our home. So this licensing program is probably one of the best aspects of making this industry, this business, literally live well within the confines of our neighborhoods. And then the 24-hour hotline is probably the best solution we could possibly think of for making our home, that we have a place to complain and we have a way to find resolutions to our problems that are immediate resolutions. And then one of the things that's really important, and I think I just went away, one of the things that's really important for us in terms of this, the resolution of the hotline, is that if these people are actually literally bad players and bad managers and bad owners, they will lose their license and they will go away. And so the majority of people are good managers, good owners, and people live in concert with us well. So I did give my my link to Gary Helfrich, and it comes up as Vesta Copesix. You can see it over there. And I don't know if Gary's willing to answer questions or not. He said that the other districts are probably a little jealous that he's always available for us. So I don't know if he's going to answer questions. I'll try to do the best I can. But I'm very, very, very pleased with the advances that we've got and that the changes that are going to be made. And I really want people to pay attention. And when the draft ordinance is ready for our review, please review it and make your comments known, because this is how we make change that we can live with the vacation rental industry in our communities. Thank you.
Hey, Chair.
Sorry, I've done it again. Thank you, Vesta, and thank you to the entire ad hoc for putting an enormous amount of work into that. It is paid off. It is like, it's really influencing on how this ordinance is shaping up. So thank you. On that note, any other council members have any questions for Vesta?
Well, Leo just put something up. As of a week or two ago, the most likely date for the Planning Commission hearing that will include the vacation rental ordinance is 3/17, so March 17th. Definitely sign up for updates officially, but that gives you a sense of the current timeline that would tentatively result in a 4/19/22 Board of Supervisors hearing if the Planning Commission moves forward with it. So put 3/17 on your calendar, but please sign up for those updates, and then you'll know for sure. We will put them on rushrivermac.org as well.
All right. Any council members have any questions for Vesta?
I just want to say thank you, Vesta. You've really gone above and beyond.
Yeah. We got a lot of thumbs up here. That's good.
Oh, look, see the hand? That means that Gary's probably around.
I am around. Somehow I came up as Vesta.
That's because I gave you the
Oh,
link.
there we go. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you have your hand raised, Gary? Yeah.
Yes, I did. Just a couple of quick notes here. Yes, we are shooting for March 17th with the Planning Commission. We're also going to at least recommend that all of those areas in the lower Russian River be considered for caps, not just the ones in red. It's going to be a policy option though for the Planning Commission to consider. So it's an option, but we're going to put it all on the table. Another thing Vesta didn't mention is the licensing. The licenses actually expire on an annual basis. So you're reapplying every year. It's a little bit different than a renewal. And every time you reactivate your license, the fire district will inspect the property, both interior and exterior, for safety. So we also have a way to make sure that defensible space is maintained and the houses are safe inside. Just one quick kind of expansion on the vacation manager's responsibility during evacuations is if the guests refuse to leave, they're obligated to contact law enforcement and give them the address and tell them that they've got people in the evacuation area that won't leave. The licensing in the coast, it's a little bit, the Coastal Act still prevails. We don't get to override the Coastal Act. The only change is now that there will be a license required. There's no control whatsoever over vacation rentals on the coast, but we're not doing any land use permits. It's going to be just license. So it's strictly performance standards. Parking, we're only allowing one on-street space. If you can't provide off-street spaces, you're limited to 4 guests, period, regardless of the size of your house. And finally, with licenses, the other thing that is helpful with using a license is we have other tools at our disposal, because not every violation is something that you want to just take the person or the manager to a revocation hearing. We can impose civil fines. We can do temporary suspensions. We've got a whole bunch of progressive enforcement actions that we can take. Right now, it's all or nothing. Either they can operate or the permit gets revoked. So I think this will help too. With a lot of the operators are just, they're not big companies, they're mom and pop operations, and they may be in over their head. And what we'd like to do is guide them into compliance rather than just like 3 strikes and you're out. But we still do have that. And we're in the final stages of executing the contract with the hotline service. So that's going to be coming online very soon. And as Vesta said, that's completely independent of the vacation rental ordinance update.
Thanks,
So
Gary.
that's it.
I think we have a couple questions from in the Q&A. Jason, am I correct in that?
I can go ahead and just read them.
Oh, okay.
There's 2 of them. Mike Nicholls is very short, so I'll read his first. It's, as I understand the proposed vacation rentals, property owners specifically with Airbnb and other national rental websites will have to transition to a local property manager. I have not heard that. Gary, do you want to weigh in? Is that appropriate, or does anyone?
You can use a national company as your property manager. However, you have to list your agent who has to live within 30 road miles of all the properties that they manage. I mean, right now, our current ordinance has the requirement that the physical person, live within 30 road miles, but we've had kind of a firewall there of you can't find out who that person is. So with the new ordinance, we've clarified that you're identifying a person. So if you're Avant Stay, that's great. You can be the property manager, but for each property, you're going to say who the person is and where they live that's managing each property.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gary.
I'll read the next question. Anyone on the panel, you can open the Q&A because it's quite lengthy, but I will read it because I know people on Facebook and the audience can't see it. So this is from Tia Resluer. And she's asking, has lowering the occupancy allowance rate of vacation rentals been considered? If numbers were set at 2 persons for the master bedroom, only 1 per additional bedroom, with no +2 overnight visitors and no additional 6 daytime visitors, it would greatly reduce the impact to emergency evacuations in high-risk terrain, parking problems, noise disturbances, and overloading septic systems. Added to this, on-site parking should be verified with property surveys. And then there's a bulleted number list here. 1, PRMD currently allows street parking in lieu of on-site parking, even though they admit that they have nothing to do with parking enforcement. 2, vacation rentals have been allowed to claim on-site parking that is far beyond the width of their property on unbuilt lots. PRMD says this is a civil matter. 3, PRMD isn't judging septic capacity by total number of vacation rental visitors and tank size, ignoring TMDL. This needs to be fixed, especially since river visitors are more likely to take showers after swimming and using hot tubs. TMDL is total maximum daily load relating to pollution that can go into the river. If allowance numbers aren't reduced, then vacation rental exclusion zones should be determined in advance of granting permits by official road inspection. Currently, the county charges residents $8,400 to residents to apply for an exclusion zone based on terrain and fire risk. Residents shouldn't have to pay for public safety. So I would say, Gary, if there's anything in there that needs correcting, please do that. I don't know either way. And if anyone else wants to respond to that.
Okay, just a few quick corrections, and one is something that I guess just got overlooked in the review of where we're at with the draft ordinance. We are recommending removing the ability to have more daytime guests. Our experience has been those are the properties that create all the problems. So you're permitted to have a certain number of guests, period. And we're also recommending that we get rid of the unlimited number of guests on specific holidays. So if you're permitted for 8 guests, that's all the people over the age of 3 that are allowed to be on the property. The parking maybe isn't a correct characterization of both our past practice and what we're proposing. That is part of the point of the safety inspection. The annual safety inspection is the parking spaces have to be on your property and they have to meet the published standards in the county code. I mean, right now we don't have a way to physically go out and verify them, but now that we're going to be doing safety inspections, we measure them. And I'm doing this from memory. I think they have to be a minimum of 8 feet by 20 feet. And they can't affect on-street parking for anybody. So we're also prohibiting, you can't reserve parking spaces on the street. And if, like I said, you only get 4 guests if you don't have off-street parking. If your septic system can't be verified, or if you're refusing to provide any information, it's limited to 4 guests, regardless of the size of the house, the amount of parking, or whatever. So there'd be a choice to do a septic findings report and get your system evaluated. Or if it's a newer system, we have a permit on file, we're going to let you do the permitted capacity of your system, not the number of bedrooms that happen to be in your house, or the number that you're claiming, or using extra rooms as extra sleeping areas. If you've got a 4-bedroom septic, then you get 8 guests. You get 2 people per bedroom, regardless of the layout of the house. And I think that with on-street parking, it is true that we actually legally can't enforce on-street parking. But we are going to evaluate road width, because there is a very old county ordinance, it's ordinance 2300, passed in the 70s, that prohibits parking within 6 feet of a road center line. So there's a lot of areas, if the road is less than 12 feet wide and you don't have off-street parking, it's simple. You can't have a vacation rental because you can't meet the standards in those cases.
There's one more question in the chat, but Gary, I would recommend just keeping the answers short, because this wasn't noticed as a major item. It was just an update from the ad hoc. So from Kyra, she says, will realtors be informed and hopefully inform potential buyers about Sonoma County vacation rental rules? Would a buyer know if the percentage for the area is reached?
That's really up to the realtor. I mean, it's all public information.
All right. Is that it for comments from, I think, everyone in the public? I can't see any hands or anything. Great. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Vesta. Thank you, committee. We'll see what happens on March 17th. And don't forget to sign up for to get notice when stuff is happening.
Thank you.
All right, with that, we're going to move to call for agenda items. If anyone has an agenda item they'd like the MAC to consider for our next meeting, speak now. I was going to say, or speak now or forever hold your peace, but I'm not going to forever hold your peace, because you can keep emailing or sending suggestions all month long, or for the next few months. Kyra, I think you had your hand up.
Oh, I just, for agenda items for next time, I do know that the CAG, the group for the wastewater, they do want to make a presentation to the MAC.
Okay. Anyone else?
I'm
Nick, hold on, let Nick had his hand raised.
I'm not sure this is an agenda item, but I want to figure out a way of getting people, when they do presentations to the MAC and have these PowerPoints with a lot of data in them, that we get them in advance. It's really hard to work with these. I a lot of stuff is blowing right by me that I really wish I had these ability to go back and go through these things and figure out what's going on.
Okay, we can work on that. Sometimes it's hard, sometimes it can happen. But maybe Mary, Elise, and I, and whoever else wants to get involved can brainstorm around that. Vesta.
Can we get an update on the thing that Elise is working on with the marketing campaign on consciousness that looks like it would work well with the Tourism Bureau? Because we're heading into tourism season, and it's going to come a little earlier this year, more than likely. And if there's anything that we can do as a MAC to enhance that and work with them to make it work for our area, especially, I know that's a countywide program, but the Lower Russian River gets a huge impact of tourism, as does our river itself. So if we could get an update on that, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, I agree. And I would specifically, after hearing, to understand how those two groups are
Coordinate.
working together and making it, one whole thing.
Yeah.
Anyone else? All right, anyone in the public have their hand up or in the Q&A for agenda items? I don't see.
There's one Q&A that I think is left over from before. I messaged Vesta about it, but Brian Verkmos had posted this on Facebook as well. He was just trying to find the actual, he said, I placed this question on Facebook and it was ignored. Where is an actual link to this report proposal? So Vesta, I don't know where your report is.
Oh, well, on the Russian River MAC, russianrivermac.org. That's our committee website. And we have all of the reports that we've done so far. And then the one that I presented tonight, I've got the text of that I will put up. It'll probably be up by tomorrow. So that's where to get that. And then now that I know what the dates are for the hearing, I can put that up there as well.
And I would just keep an eye out for the publicly posted documents. Usually Permit Sonoma tries to put them up more than a week in advance, and certainly they have to, I believe, at least 3 days in advance, but usually they're over a week.
Right, and that's like only 72 hours, which it's a very complicated document. That's really hard to be able to digest in that short period of time. So as soon as we have it, we'll do both. And then because this person is on Facebook, we do put notices up on the Lower Russian River MAC Facebook page. So we're just trying to cover all those bases. Thank you. And thank you, Ryan.
Thanks. Tony, did you have something?
Thank you, Chair. I was seconding your and Vesta's thing with the that thing from last year, and then today Claudia's thing, and then I was just I guess my big push, and I'm not real good with this stuff, but my big push is how can all this tourism help local families? I'm seeing schools closing, I'm seeing families leaving the area, but we really emphasize tourism, and I would love to see how we can incorporate the tourism industry into promoting healthy families in our communities and keeping our schools intact and things like that. So if anyone had some advice for me, I'm sure that maybe little things that I can mention at different times could help achieve that goal, but I'm not real good at it. So
That's okay. And Tony, maybe we can talk offline or whatever about how, if there's organizations or a resource out there that is working on that we could potentially invite.
The housing element, that's very important to Tony to be involved with the housing element. Anybody who participated in that and the breakout groups, and how there was a common thread, and the common thread that as Permit Sonoma and the general plan is being rewritten again, the housing element is really important, and the emphasis was very much on families and neighborhoods right across the board, from cities to rural communities. It was wonderful.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. Pay attention to
Wonderful.
that one. That's precious.
I'm gonna get together with Kyra too and see if there's something that can be done. I just know that out here in Cazadero, things are coming to a head, and I think that it'd be good if we could get in front of it.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Tony. I think we don't have any more. And with that, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Woo-hoo! I adjourn.
I second.
You can't just adjourn and leave.
I motion to adjourn. Thank you very much for following the rules. That's why you're the chair.
All right, so we got a second. Raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that are on here. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Leo. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Supervisor Hopkins, if you're still on. And I think Elise pinged me and she is secretly listening in. So bad person. But thank you to Lise too. All right, goodbye, everyone.
Hi, good night.
Good night. Thanks you all. Thanks to the public.